This is the Surly Grognards for November 11th, 2014. I can talk. This is
So you
Peter
can.
Bowman, and as usual, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
You can't talk. That was a lie.
Yeah, I'm actually projecting my thoughts into your brain telepathically over the internet. It's a really cool trick.
I thought you were just typing and relying on a chatbot.
No, that's you, Eric.
Oh, okay.
I'm the cyberpath, remember?
All right.
God, if I was a cyberpath, that'd make things so much fucking easier.
Yeah, or technokinetic.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah. You get to be the cyber. You be the cyberpath. I'll be the technokinetic, and
There we go.
yeah.
So,
I don't think I'm allowed to be a technokinetic.
No, you're not. Aren't you a Luddite, basically?
I've not at all. I
know
believe
you're not.
strongly in in technology's ability to change people's lives and make it better. I just happen to have bought technological incompetence as a flaw in character creation.
That you're a walking entropy field.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, so tonight we don't really have a precise topic, which is fine because we got a lot of random things to talk about.
Yes.
So let's see, where do we want to start? Well, let's start off with Doctor Doom.
Yeah, Doctor Doom. Now,
So Marvel, not Marvel, Sony has announced that there's going to be they've announced details on the new Fantastic Four movie.
a
and-
reboot of their aborted abomination from friggin' what was it, like 2004? I don't remember. The craptastic series that they had.
Yeah, those were not very good.
But they
And-
they announced some details about the new Doom, or this version of Doom, who is not Doctor Doom.
I'm not going to write it off completely to this right now, just because, But so basically, Victor Von Doom is a they've taken a quote more modern take on it. That's not the actual direct quote, but he's a very antisocial programmer, blogging on sites, and he's not Victor Von Doom, but and that's fine. I don't care about the Von Doom.
He's
thing.
Russian too, isn't he, or some bullshit?
Yeah, fine, whatever. That doesn't bother me. Victor Domashev, which very Russian name, yes.
Yes.
And
Wow,
fine.
that's like a ridiculously Russian name.
It's
That's like scientifically designed to be a Russian name. Are you sure we couldn't get the word Tsar in there somewhere?
But yes, the Doom and Ours is I'm a quote from Kebbel. The Doom and Ours, I'm a programmer, very antisocial programmer, and blogging on sites. And he blogs on sites. I'm Doom.
That's not Doctor Doom.
Now, so the blogging bit, fine, whatever. It sounds like they're sort of, and there's not full details, so we can't go too far into this. And
But blogging's so beneath Doom.
yeah,
It's so beneath his notice. He's got minions for that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think a lot of people. I guess they're going sort of for origin of Doom in this movie. So like the very beginning of
Of his enmity with
Reed and-
Reed Richards. Yeah.
and taking up the mantle of Doom and all that stuff, and that's fine. But I think a large part of the thing that what makes Doom so appealing is we've talked about this a bit before, but is the fact that he's aristocracy. Now he wasn't originally aristocracy. His mother was a gypsy, his father unknown, etc. But he took the throne. He took over a lot of area, and because he's always had these aristocratic attitudes, and the aristocratic attitudes of an antisocial programmer just don't seem to mesh well.
Yeah.
Doom isn't antisocial. He's wildly arrogant.
He's I mean, you can have him be a giant walking avatar for hubris. That would be perfectly. That makes sense for Doom.
Yeah,
In fact, the only reason Doom loses a lot of time is due to his own hubris. But yeah, it's. Why would you do that to one of my favorite villains? Can't we just give him over to Marvel Studios and let them do him right?
because Sony still got the license.
Because Sony's a jerk, right?
I can't fault them for not wanting to get licensed since superhero movies are making lots of money right now, but
Yeah, and the whole like the whole what's the word I'm looking for? The mentality behind. Well, we obviously can't do a good faithful Spider-Man and Fantastic Four, so we'll just give them back to Marvel so that they can do what they want with them. Marvel made them and it made tons of money. How could you let this property go? That could have been us. No, we tried and failed several times. It was never going to be us.
right. But yeah.
But yeah, and Doctor, that's the thing. Here's the thing about Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom's one of the most interesting things about Doctor Doom, at least in my opinion, is he's got this whole um, noblesse oblige thing going on.
Yep.
He honestly, deep in the core of his being, believes it. He believes it is his because he has the power to do so. He should work hard to make sure everything works out for his people because that's his responsibility. It's just that he's evil.
Yeah. It's not a morality thing for him. It's honestly for him.
It's a combination of pride and duty.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost like his ability to show that he is superior because he can provide for his people and he should be ruling the world because he will do a better job than anybody else.
Yes,
because he is smarter, more powerful, and
I have
better.
Proof right here. Look at what I did with Latveria.
And that's what makes Doom a compelling villain, among other things. But that's like the core of it. And I think a lot of people get that wrong. Well, at least the movie adaptations have so far.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'd say I don't know what's so hard, but I think it's clear we know what's so hard.
It's writing. I mean, honestly, writing comic books is not easy, and writing characters like that isn't easy, and not everyone can do it.
Green Onk asks, as a blogger, how will he get his scar in an accident, and how that he blamed that on Reed? Well, clearly his computer monitor is going to explode because he was posting something about how much Reed Richards is a jerk or something, and that will be his fault because
he got in an argument with Reed on the forums or something stupid like that,
and then his monitor exploded.
His monitor exploded due to a virus or something stupid like that. That doesn't make any sense.
That is a powerful virus. It's able to just make up physics on its own.
Yeah, so I would say so. Yeah, So that's where that's sort of the begin where we started. We can't talk too much about it because we don't have the full details. Is the problem? I mean, we can't talk too much about what they're actually doing because we don't know.
Yeah, it's all speculation and whatnot.
And who knows? This might turn to be really good. I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe this is all the smoke screen, and they'll do a friggin' amazing adaptation that will redefine it, redefine the Fantastic Four, a la Batman the Animated Series did for Batman.
Oh, sure. And honestly,
and then the sun will explode, and I'll become God Emperor of Mankind.
That seems less likely.
Not by a lot.
No, in all honesty, it is distinct. It is definitely a possibility. I think it's an unlikely possibility. It's an improbable possibility. But they could just do an entirely new take on Doom, and and still get some of the where they're starting. It's possible, I guess, that this new take on will make a very cool and interesting character, and it may not be exactly what the Doom we know and love, but it could still be a compelling, interesting villain. We just haven't seen what it is yet.
Right. Because we don't know anything.
Right. I mean, no, not even a little bit.
But yeah. Fucking blogger, really?
That's I don't get that. I don't know. I just
like really, it's so beneath him.
I agree.
Doom doesn't handle his own social media. That's for peons. Doom has peons for that.
Yeah. Well, we could sort of rant about this forever, but honestly, I think we said what we need to say about that.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's where I wanted to start. But so I did want to ask. So what else has been going on, though? Is the thing. I mean, we haven't really talked about what we've been doing in terms of gaming stuff in a little while.
Oh, let me see here. I was playing World of Warcraft for a while, but I seem to have petered out on that. Who knows with the expansion dropping this week, though?
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick up the expansion this week. I'll probably pick it
No,
up.
I'm not going to be picking it up this week, but
I'll probably pick it up next month and play again for a while. So,
Yeah.
my main character at level 90, and I'm like, I could do more stuff, or I could wait until I get the expansion and actually keep advancing.
Yeah, I was sort of on the mad dash to 90 for the expansion. I was like, now I'm kind of don't care.
So I'm sort of I pop in from time to time, but I'm gonna take a little break until next month until I
Yeah.
actually pick up the expansion.
The same here. I pop in from time to time, run around, do a dungeon or two, I bury my axe in some stupid thing's head, and then I log off.
Yeah. Well, also as usual with me, I bop around between various games.
Yeah.
As always, I did pick up due to a generous donation from one of our viewers, Tachi. He gave me a copy of Binding of Isaac Rebirth, the new version of Binding of Isaac.
Oh, cool.
And it's really good. It's still immensely tough and frustrating because it is Binding of Isaac.
Right.
It still hates me.
I think it hates everybody.
That's what Isaac is designed to. It is designed to hate the player, but in a fun way.
Yes.
It's an action roguelike, which means it's designed to kick your ass, and occasionally the randomness will just completely just kick you in the balls and make you go meh, or slap you upside the head, or honestly knife you in the back, or knife you in the chest, or drop a tactical nuclear device on you.
Give you a cookie.
It does that
Be
sometimes.
very suspicious if it gives you a cookie.
Oh no, it does that sometimes. There are times it gives you giant, beautiful, lovely cookies, warm and warm, gooey chocolate chip cookies in a giant glass of frosty milk, and then a sniper takes you out. But there are some truly astonishing. I actually watched some people who are actually really good at Isaac, because if you're really good at it, you can overcome the difficulty. I mean, that's the thing.
Right.
Is with enough skill and play skill, you can make up for the random number generator by just being good at the game. That's the thing about Isaac. That is the reason it and a lot of roguelikes are actually good games. Is there's all this stuff that's arrayed against you, but it's possible to get around it by skill. And I've watched some guys who are really good at the game playing, and they do these crazy stuff and they get around there's some crazy combos you can pull off but you have to basically avoid taking damage at all for a long time. Because it takes a while to build up to everything, and it's just they all of a sudden and then they have broken combo of Doom. And you throw a broken combo of Doom upon, I can dodge everything because I'm amazing, and the rest of the game becomes a complete cakewalk.
Yeah. Which is, yay, good for you.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch some of the crazy stuff that comes up. And I'm not very good at the game, so I need to get broken shit in order to get anything done. But I'm enjoying it though. It's a wonderful little game. It's like $15. It's
Cool.
I was gonna pick it up for myself, but Tachi beat me to it, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Tachi. So I've been playing that. Been dove back into the Secret World for a little while, also because the Secret World is awesome. Because
Right.
Halloween and the Secret World is fucking awesome. The gameplay is not perfect. It's sort of its weakest point, I'd say. Like the actual mechanics of playing the characters is probably its weakest point.
Yeah.
Well, outside of the funcom bugs, but
It's Funcom.
it's
Yeah.
funcom. But the atmosphere, the writing, the voice acting.
Yeah, there's a lot to love about that game. And there's a lot to love about it. It's just, I don't know, something about it, and I think it's largely just Funcom and the actual gameplay sort of wears on me after a week or so. I end up dropping it again.
No,
Not that there isn't, but yeah, there's everything else about the game. Like, is fucking amazing.
I just love. It's a game I love diving into for a while, then taking a break from, the diving back into it, and then taking a break.
Yeah, that's sort of my feeling on Star Trek Online, honestly.
I feel exactly the same way about Star Trek Online. Absolutely, those are two. The thing about both of them is they are so atypical MMOs.
Yes,
They're very different than most other MMOs out there.
they really are. Both in their settings and just the way they do things.
Yeah, the way you build your character in both of them. There's so many different things you can do in them, and sort of the way you layer stuff, and the way they handle gear is very different. It's weird. Star Trek Online handles gear both the way you'd expect in an MMO and in ways you don't.
Yeah,
It's very strange.
it's a weird game. I enjoy it immensely for about a month at a time, and then
You need a break.
I need a break.
Well, honestly, I think I'm at the point with MMOs where I can't really. I can't
Really commit.
I can't commit to anyone for basically, since I have not been able to commit to an MMO for more than a month or so at a time, honestly, since City of Heroes. And I think that's just because City of Heroes managed to hit all the right sweet points for me.
No, I get that.
And also, I think I've just been playing MMOs since 2000.
Yeah, you and me both. And
I've
yeah,
been playing
I'm starting to get a
14 years.
yeah. Well, I haven't been playing as long as you have.
Right.
I started.
You started with Dark Age, right?
Um,
Dark Age. Okay, Eric, you've been playing for like 12 years.
it's still a really long fucking time.
Yeah. It's just that realization that your Dark Age came out like 2002, dude.
Yeah,
Not that much later. It's only 2 years.
it's only an extra 2 years.
Actually, it might have been longer than that. Wait, hang on. I gotta look this up now. When did Dark Age come out? Wikipedia, I'm wrong, Eric. It came out on October 10th, 2001. You guys didn't get into it immediately, so you probably didn't get into it in 2002.
Yeah, it took us a little while to get dragged in there.
Yeah, I remember our friend Jono started playing it when it first came out, and there's a lot of. I was still playing Asheron's Call at that point, and there's a lot about Dark Age I thought kind of looked kind of neat, but there's a lot of it I was really skeptical of. Most of what I was skeptical of, I felt I was right about. Dark Age.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Dark Age while I was playing it. It's where I first developed where my hatred of elves first developed from a simple dislike of the aesthetics to just hating elves.
Aw, I played an elf in that.
Yes, and you were a jerk because you're an elf. Everyone that played elves were jerks. The end.
You played in Hibernia. Half the people were elves.
Exactly my point. But
I'm still astonished you didn't end up in Midgard.
I did. I played a bunch in Midgard, but all my friends
Played Hibernia.
were in Hibernia. It was exactly what happened with friggin' World of Warcraft. Everyone was fucking Alliance, but all I wanted to do was go hang out with the orcs and trolls.
Yeah, that's actually why I ended up playing Hibernia with you guys. Also, because I would have been in Midgard also, because,
Yeah, because friggin' trolls and dwarves and berserkers and murder smurfs.
Honestly, for me, it was the Thane.
The Bane?
The Thane.
Oh, yes.
The ability
Troll
to drop
Bane. I'm a troll and I worship Thor.
The ability to drop
Self-hating troll. It's hilarious.
The ability to drop hammers of lightning from the sky is just
Yes.
which you can do in Secret World.
Yes.
Elementalism has a power that does that.
I've seen it. I did not know it was an elementalism. Now I'm going to have to play that and get my elementalism up.
Yeah. Green wants to ask, how are Lord of the Rings Online, Conan, Neverwinter, Wildstar Guild Wars 2, Star Trek, Star Wars? How are they as MMOs, or how are they MMO? Okay, so
Lotro, I played some of, and it was just the lack of meaningful PvP got to me. This is at a time I was really into PvP,
Right.
not so much anymore. and it was just so. Dwarves are cool, but I need me some monster. Is what it boils down to.
Yeah, I could see that. I understand that from where you're coming
I
from.
really like. I really need tusks or fangs or claws, whatnot. Um, which is my big problem with Conan. Conan also felt like I was trying too hard to be adult and extreme, and
It,
therefore wasn't at all.
well, and it was also fun commie, but
Yeah, it was ridiculously fun comic.
Lotro. Okay, the thing about Lotro, I played it for about. I played at launch because I was given a copy of it for free. Thank you, Dan.
Right.
And I played, and I had a few friends. Several friends of mine that played also. Brian, Peter Shaw, and Joey. We all played it together. And Yvonne, and it was good. There's a lot of things I like about it. But it's the big thing about it is that when soloing, you can solo very well in the game.
Yes.
But it's slow paced, and the game is really structured for the pacing. Of the game is structured for grouping.
Also, fucking Tom Bombadil stealing my kill on that boss. Still haven't forgiven the game for that. There's a quest line where you end up going to the Barrows and fighting Barrow Rights. And at the end of the quest line, you end up accidentally waking up a Barrow King. And it's like, crap! Clearly this is terrible. I'm going to die. It's like, no, I'm winning. I'm just barely winning. I'm winning by a fucking pixel, but I'm winning. And the quest is structured in such a way that a scripted event happens when you hit 25% health. And Tom Bombadil friggin' sings the Wall of the Crypts down and then plays his fucking lute at the goddamn fucking White King and steals my kill.
That's because you're not supposed to be able to beat the White King.
But I was doing it because I know how to play a goddamn tank.
That's the funny part. It's like I know the quest. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, wow, you did better against that than I did. But I was playing a hunter.
Mm,
I was like my two characters that were a hunter and a burglar.
right. I think it was Guardian that I was playing.
Yeah, you're guardian if you're
Yeah.
playing tank. And yeah, not so much. I mean, Bombadil saved my pansy ass. But yeah, honestly, it's the least sort of infuriating incarnation of Bombadil I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
So.
That's true.
But overall, like it does capture a lot of.
It does a
mostly
great job capturing the sort of Middle Earth feel.
for the most part, with a couple of minor weird exceptions. Mostly the Runekeeper class they added.
Yeah, 'cause you fucking magic.
What are you doing?
Magic and not one of the Ashtari. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, because they've got like the ranged nuker is the hunter, and it's an archer.
Yeah, and that's cool.
And there's the Lore Keeper, which is sort of a control which looks like it's a magical sort of controller type, but it's sort of magical effects are actually alchemical, and it's got some ability to like communicate with beasts and such. And like the magical quote healing is the minstrel, and the clever thing they did was that in order to keep the feel that they're not actually magically healing your hit points, is that instead of hit points you have morale,
Right.
and when you die you're not dead, you flee. So the minstrel is using his musical magic to bring your morale up, and that just it covers that very nicely, I think.
Mm.
Of course, they also play their music at things to kill them because they can do damage with their songs.
Yeah. Because they're damaging the enemy's morale. Vicious mockery.
Exactly. Although they do have a power which like is honestly like it's like an orbital laser strike. It's like I'm like what? How does it make? Never mind. I don't care. But yeah, the pacing is it plays a lot mechanically. It plays a lot like World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
except that it's slower
during the time
paced.
everyone was stealing World of Warcraft's model.
Oh, there's a reason that they did. It was successful and good.
Well, all World of Warcraft did was steal friggin' Dark Age and EverQuest model and clean it up.
But yeah,
Yeah. Played Conan briefly. It was fun. Fun commie. Yeah, you got our opinion earlier.
yeah,
Never-
Neverwinter. Oh God, Neverwinter.
There's
I
so
want to
much
like that game.
There's so much to like about Neverwinter, but it's just completely doesn't quite do it. I forced it long enough to get a character to max level, and like the gameplay is fun, but it's just the world's too closed off. I think is the problem.
It's very much on rails.
Yes, it's very much on rails. There's very little actual exploration that can be done.
And
You're on the quest line, and that's the end.
and your character build's almost on rails too.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan.
it's the combat
the actual
thing.
the actual
character creator, go figure, its cryptic is good. Yeah, like
but yeah the actual
it's just too many rails. is the
yeah
problem.
the gameplay is again mechanically it's a solid game. Like in terms of
It's actually fun. It's got this sort of almost action RPG feel to it.
well I think it's the best. The actual action RPG elements are good. It's just the rest of the
Yes.
game isn't. So if you really like if you like if you all you care about is mechanics, it's actually pretty decent. But
Yeah. And the quest lines aren't bad. It's just that there's no variation. Like you have to do the quest lines in this order at the end. There's no exploration at all. You can't wander off to elsewhere. Like zones are actually locked. You can't get into them until you're at the appropriate level.
yeah, Star Wars: The Old Republic Online. It's WoW in space.
Yeah, it's WoW in space. Similar issues with the quest, but the quests are much better written.
They're much better written.
It's more like it's more like 8 mediocre BioWare RPGs thrown together.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
PvP is interesting and dynamic. I'll give it that. I like that it's not just Jedi being tanks. Both the bounty hunter and the trooper can be tanks, and are really good at it. Like the amount of control options that the bounty hunter and trooper have are really. Go figure what I played. I played a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Duh. WildStar played for about a month and a half, 2 months. Really fun game, great sense of humor, great aesthetic, good mechanics, giant fucking time sink. I did not have the time to invest in that game.
Yeah, I've heard everything I've seen of it. It just looked like it would have been. I tried the beta, and my reaction to it was, eh.
I definitely liked it more than you did.
Yeah.
But the problem is like you just want to go do a dungeon that's like 3 or 4 hours down the tube.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a giant time
so
sink.
decidedly old school.
It's and very, very hardcore.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's very.
It's one of the few games where like a bad pull out in the world will just fucking murder you.
And there are things about that I can understand why people sort of miss that, but there are reasons that most games have moved on from that. A lot of the basically, It intentionally went back to try to recapture some of the sort of old school, quote old school, hardcore MMO sort of attitudes. And there's a reason most games have moved on from that. They weren't popular.
Because it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. The thing that every MMO company eventually learns is that
You can't listen to your hardcore players.
The hardcore players will churn through your content, churn through everything, and move on to the next game.
Yeah.
That's
you
what
can't
happens.
listen to them. Not at all. So yeah, WildStar was a ridiculous amount of fun for a month and a half until I realized that, I wasn't playing it enough
to actually be able to do stuff.
Yeah, because the game's a job, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, basically the thing about all the MMOs that I like is that they you can play them for a long time and have a lot of fun playing it for a long period of time, but it's also possible to log into them for half an hour to an hour and have fun.
Yes, and that's not the case with WildStar. Although the housing system is fucking really kick-ass too.
Yep, I've heard
that. Some of the houses I visited, and by houses I mean there was like a shack in the middle, and then they built up around the plot this huge, complex friggin' like palace out of like just crap they had lying around.
Neat. Greenhawk mentions hardcore typesync. Shadow Shard Task Force. The first shard. Yes, I believe it's the Clatterfield Task Force from City of Heroes. That is I've done that. That's one of the only task forces I only ever did once in City of Heroes, because it takes like 8 hours.
Damn.
But that's atypical for City. That was atypical for City. It's also
That's
one of their.
ridiculous.
It's one of their. It was one of their early design task forces. They got much better at that as they went along
Yeah.
because they realized that that sort of thing wasn't actually a good design choice.
Yeah. Um, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we've talked about Star Trek and Star Wars.
The only
This
thing,
thing.
Guild Wars 2 is the only one that we have not talked on yet. I've not
Yes,
played it, so
and
I can't comment on it.
I have. I really like Guild Wars 2. I really like the world. I really like the manner of advancement in it. Um, I really like that it's a very atypical fantasy MMO. Um, no elves, no dwarves, no gnomes, no orcs, none of that shit. Instead, you've got steampunk giant cat hyenas with horns, tree-hugging literal tree people. I guess they're the equivalent of elves, but they're like humanoid plants. Goblin gnomes. That's the only way to describe the Asura. They look like goblins. They behave like gnomes. They're completely sociopathic. And it's all for science! And the humans are actually remarkably boring. Their city is very pretty. It's probably the best designed city that doesn't involve giant steam stacks and gears. But they're so typically human.
Right.
But yeah, and the problem is it's a great PvP actually,
Huh.
because the PvP is all server based. You've got like big open world PvP, and it's a separate shard where it pits one server against two other servers,
Interesting.
and that's really cool. It's like the frontier in Dark Age or the RVR Lakes and Warhammer, but it's never one server getting too much cooler than the other, because if another one falls too far behind, the game will automatically knock it down to the next tier and bring up the next one.
Ah, interesting.
So it's always an even fight. Let me reiterate that. It does it like once every couple months. So you can still like do commando raid Zerg blitzes, but but yeah. But the thing is, I just sort of go meh after a while.
Right. So yeah, that covers the MMOs that Greenhawk asked about.
Yeah.
Rathbreaker wanted to know if since it's Veterans Day, any ideas on how to use veterans in game stories?
Oh, they could. Veterans actually make great what's the word I'm looking for? Mentors.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're excellent for like the mentors or handlers for groups. Also, just playing a veteran in a game is cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't really have any sort of special things to do with. I mean, like it's that they're.
Here's the thing. I know several veterans, and I always feel a little weird, like playing one or incorporating one too heavily into a game, particularly if they're involved in it. Because it's sort of like, am I gonna get chewed out after a game for doing it wrong?
Yeah, I
As
guess.
someone that actually knows what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of that.
Yeah, honestly, my sort of take on it, honestly, for the most part, is that they're just it's. I don't really treat them any differently than I treat any other sort of type of character. To be perfectly honest, I mean, they are a character. They're a character. It's a background for a character that if it makes sense for the NPC, I'll use it that way.
Mm.
I mean, I'll work it in.
I'm always a little wary of using the old stereotypical tropes like
Mhm.
the mentally broken old veteran that's all bitter and lives inside the bottle kind of deal, or the PTS suffering guy, because nothing is more insulting than like doing PTSD wrong, particularly with someone who actually suffers it.
Yeah.
So
That's a tricky one.
yeah. So I tend to be very wary about how I include them, except peripherally. So mostly because vets are cool. I mean, they had to put up with officers. Officers suck.
Oh yes.
Love the officers out there.
So it's just it's one of those things like using a veteran. I. I can't give any sort of generic sort of feedback on it because there's so many different types of people who are veterans. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a facet of a character's background as far as I'm concerned. So it's not like I mean, it is also a trope. That's the thing.
yeah,
And if you want to go for that angle, that's fine. In a trope, very sort of trope heavy game, that's perfectly reasonable, and it's a good sort of building block for a character to start there and then build the rest of the character around that, I guess. But
yeah. I mean, doing an entire group, say, doing like a military campaign or even an adventure campaign where everyone's veterans of something different,
right,
like different units, like
absolutely. But
who have either mustered out or are still in the service, that kind of deal. So
so
yeah, I
yeah,
wish I could give you more, but I'm not a veteran, so I really don't know how to do it without falling back on stereotypes and tropes.
yeah. So definitely
But
interesting.
yeah, no, you guys are awesome. You go and do shit, so I can be a fat internet slob. So
Yeah. And Greenock also has it's the start of Carnival. Anyway, to get Carnival in games. Carnival
oh,
is a great.
there's
That is quite possibly the single greatest set piece for any action scene that you could ever think of.
yeah.
Oh my God, Carnival, best set piece ever. I hate boiling it down to that. I really do. But oh my God, just the visuals.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, and it's just
so much interesting stuff you could do with it.
and incorporate like any kind of occult or supernatural
Absolutely.
spookiness is instantly made cooler by involving Carnival.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just there's so many different ways you can take that, and
And that's just me going straight to like weird ass occult stuff that I love. I mean, you could totally do like using Carnival as a cover uh, for the bad guys doing some sort of horrible, completely mundane smuggling
oh,
or
absolutely.
trafficking or whatnot.
Well, there's a reason it shows up in action movies a lot.
Yeah,
Not just the visual style. The visual style is a large part of it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on visually. So I mean, like it's a big set piece, and it's a bunch of like, God, which crap. It was a big set piece in one of the Bond movies. I'm forgetting which one.
I don't know.
Crap. But yeah, so it. Carnival. I don't know enough about it culturally to go much beyond that. I'd have to do research. But
And if I were to include it in a game, I definitely would.
yeah, same.
I compulsively research things that I'm interested in at the moment.
Outside of
So
like, I would honestly outside if I was turning Carnival into like a feng shui game, I would do sort of cursory research.
yeah,
But I've mostly
yeah,
been using
because
it
it's
as
feng shui. You don't. It's yeah. Inaccuracy is part of the deal with feng shui.
right. So yeah. Um. Let's see. We did get a viewer question on via email, which I want to get through, go through quickly before I forget to.
Cool.
This is from Ian Carricker. Uh, two of his players in his game that he's running have been in a relationship for over a year, and the two of them were more or less a happy couple until suddenly, before his game on Saturday, they broke up. It was quite a shock to everyone at the table, and things naturally got awkward. Both intend to remain as players, so my question is: how do you have any advice on how to lessen the awkwardness around the gaming table for everyone else?
That's just gonna be weird. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's gonna be weird and awkward, and there's no way to lessen it. Like even my default of solving social problems would include booze, just makes things weirder. So
Yeah. Honestly, my best advice is since you're gaming with them, you're friends with both of them. Just remember that you're friends with both of them, and just
try not to take sides.
yeah, try to
Seriously.
take sides and just keep
Like treat it like any other breakup, unless one really did fuck up thoroughly, and that's the reason. There's do not take sides. Like, someone was caught in bed with a swarm of gerbils and a prostitute and three Dalmatians. Like, yeah, seriously.
But yeah, long
Don't
story
take
short,
sides.
I wouldn't. I just don't, try to keep things at the table as normal as you can. Honestly, that's my best advice.
Yeah,
Um,
it's going to be weird, and there's no way around it.
but
A
yeah,
lot of
and
it's going to
you know,
depend on their attitudes.
yeah,
Honestly.
exactly. It depends heavily on how they act, honestly, and what they're
Yeah, there's
and
not a lot you can do about it. But
what they're comfortable with.
yes,
So, play it by ear, is the best I can say. Clockwork Grunt in the chat asks, do you have any tips for game master a group of 10 unruly newbie people in a Mutants and Masterminds game?
cut it in half.
Okay, running a game with 10 players is going to be a pain in the ass no matter what
Even
you do.
when they're friggin', even when they're all vets and they know exactly what they're doing and they know the system inside and out, 10 people is too many.
Things that most that
Shut up and goddamn it. Yeah, I've been in a couple of games with 10 people, and those are pretty much that's what's going to happen the most.
yeah, I hate to say it, 10 people is just such a huge unwieldy group. Find ways to break it down into small. If you want to keep it keep everybody in the game, and I can understand that. Oh my god, my head hurts just thinking about this.
10 people, Jesus Christ.
The most I've ever run is 7 players, and that was unwieldy.
I did 6 once and wanted to murder myself after every session.
6 I can handle fairly well. I've done that for a long time, so that it's just where I'm.
5 is my limit, and 5 feels a little much, honestly. So I think I'm happiest at 3 to 4.
Yeah, I'm good. It depends on the game for me too, honestly.
If things are particularly unruly, you might need to get draconian with it, and just like you can't talk yet. You go, then you go, then you go. That kind of deal.
Are there games where the combat is fast and fluid enough to support 10 people? Okay. Yeah, there are. They exist. Especially in combat, I would definitively make sure. Okay, here's the thing: in a group of 10 people, what I would basically say this as a flat out rule for everybody in combat is you do not talk unless it's your turn to do something.
Yeah.
Don't talk over other people, etc. And you have to give people
No side conversations.
Right, no side for conversations. If someone wants to suggest something, they have to basically sort of like raise their hand and let like someone like ask for help or what have you. Like, little discussions are
The
fine.
GM recognizes Bob.
Right.
Type of deal.
Stuff like that, especially with a newer group of players. With a group of veterans, that'll work better. But you don't have to be quite as draconian. But with the new group of players, keep it to that sort of thing. And you may even want to, if people seem like taking a long, long time on their turns and people are getting antsy, start giving people like time limits. Honestly.
Yeah.
But Eric's right. Breaking the group in half is honestly my ideal solution. If you've got the energy to run 2 games, split it in half.
Hell, honestly, that could actually be really cool because you'd break it into 2 different groups and have them influence the story for one another. That could be really cool.
Yeah. The only thought I can think of is to deputize an assistant game master and occasionally split the group into certain situations and have like your deputy handle the other group during certain periods. But
Yeah.
that gets unwieldy too. So I don't know. All right. Let's see what else is going on. Gaming wise, let's see. We've been continuing our feng shui game on Mondays. It's been amusing.
I'm playing a stoner cyborg gorilla from the future.
Yeah.
Except no, man, it's the past. We're in the past now, and I'm from the present. So you gotta understand your temporal mechanic metaphysics, man. I'm having fun with them. also having fun being the expedition bot because I bought the skill knowledge in Secret War, and
Well, you're an ex-jammer, so you
yeah,
of course would know something about that.
and just but it's really low, so throwing in a lot of misinformation with the
Well, also a lot of your information comes from the jammers, so you're definitively
yeah, because it's all
biased.
skewed to one way or another.
Right. Green Alec asked if we've heard about Star Citizen.
Yes, Star Citizen looks really interesting. I am not funding it. I am not playing it until it's out, and then I'll make my decision. But it's really ambitious, and I really hope it goes well.
Right. Yeah,
It's so ambitious that I don't have a lot of faith that it'll actually ever get released.
Yeah, I keep looking at it, I keep going. There's a lot of stuff here I admire. I don't think I'll ever play the game, even if it comes out. It's a little too.
So it does carry a little too much Eve Online mentality for me.
Yeah, that's sort of a large part of it.
But by the same token, as long as my ship isn't permanently destroyed, I'm okay. It'll be a fun thing to jump into every once in a while.
Right.
Sort of the same way I feel about MechWarrior Online, which I'm much happier now that I've stopped taking it seriously.
Yeah. MechWarrior is a game I want to like more than I do. Wrathbreaker says he'd love to see us play a Shadowrun game. Okay, Shadowrun. Eric adores Shadowrun.
I love Shadowrun. Shadowrun's great.
I'm remarkably ambivalent towards it.
However, I always get frustrated trying to run Shadowrun after the first session and drop it.
I can see that. I can totally understand that.
I've tried it a couple times, and I'm just not built for running that kind of game. At least not in that world. Also, dude, I want to be a fucking troll and with a troll street Sam with a friggin' axe and stuff, or a shaman. I want to be a goddamn troll.
Yeah. My problem with it, honestly, is I'm not a big Cyberpunk fan
Right.
to begin with. So adding fantasy elements on top of it makes it less. Makes it better for me, but not enough so that I actually am particularly intrigued.
I get that. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not that thoroughly interested in sci-fi type of stuff. But yeah, I am terrible at running Shadowrun as much as I love it. Peter's really not interested. I don't think it'll be happening on stream anytime
Yeah,
soon.
I honestly don't think I could do it. I don't think I could run a good Shadowrun game just because of my lack of interest.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is that you need to be enthusiastic about the game world you're running a game in. I'm not enthusiastic about the Shadowrun world. It's just not something that grabs me. And I'm not saying it's not. It's just, one of those, there's a lot of stuff in there I think is really cool. And
Dude, you've got dragon CEOs.
Yeah, they do. I'm not a big modern fantasy guy in general, honestly, that I'm thinking about it.
That's the thing. There's also a fair amount of nostalgic bit for involved with Shadowrun.
Oh,
for me.
sure.
My first exposure to modern fantasy, which is something that I urban fantasy, which is something I really enjoy. And Shadowrun was my first exposure to the concept.
So yeah, there's just not much about the game I actually really liked. I mean, I've played it, and I didn't like I'm not a fan of the world. I'm not a fan of the mechanics.
Bug spirits.
Okay.
I know you don't care.
The thing is, the thing I like most about Shadowrun is the number of people who are absolutely enthralled with the world and love it, which means they did something right there.
Yeah, well,
They
it's
totally
a
did.
game. FASA knew how to build a fucking universe. It's just that they sucked at actual gameplay and mechanics.
Oftentimes, yes.
At least in the first iteration was unplayable. Second iteration was this is for all FASA games that I've ever played. First edition is unplayable. Second edition is difficult, frustrating, and counterintuitive. But it's okay because the world is awesome. Third iteration, they usually get it right, and there are no third iterations of any of their games because that was destroyed, and then other companies with good developers picked them up. So
Oh yeah, Vasa is no more.
yeah, Vasa was eaten by wolves.
Yeah. Well, anyways. Yeah. So let's see what else has been going on that we should chat about before we wrap things up for the night. I'm forgetting. There's something else I want to talk about. I've forgotten what it is.
Uh,
Crap, I forgot what it was.
yeah, you're the one with the plan here, man.
I know,
So
that's
such
the
as it
problem.
is.
That's the problem. Oh, right, I want to talk about Skyrim a little bit since I've been playing that
Oh
title.
yes,
Since I have finally
like
played Skyrim.
only took you 3 years.
Yeah, I'm behind the curve. Um, honestly, I've been enjoying it for the most part when I've been playing. It's been frustrating in a few ways because Bethesda.
It's Bethesda, yeah.
I didn't buy. Here's the thing: I didn't buy it when it came out because I played Oblivion. I tried playing Oblivion. I tried playing Morrowind and didn't like either of them. So I was like,
I like
why?
Morrowind. I did not have a lot of love for Oblivion.
But yes, I look at him like, why on earth, if I did not like either of their first two games, what the first two, the most two recent versions,
Previous iterations, let's call
so
it that.
two previous iterations of this game world, and from everything I understand, mechanically, it's basically the same basic mechanics that have been going on. Why on earth would I buy the most recent one? It made no sense to me. I did not buy it. I watched people playing and said, it looks okay, but I'm glad I didn't buy the game. It just didn't really do anything for me. And, I eventually threw up my Steam wish list because, it was on sale in shape. Like, doesn't look terrible. If it's everyone's, I put it on there. I put most things I put on my Steam wish list are things to remind me to pick up if they're on sale and I've got money to spend on gaming free at that point. And my brother got it for me for my birthday. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll give it a try. And it's a lot better than
Because Vikings.
It's a lot better than Morrowind was, and not because of any world stuff. It's entirely because they've smoothed out a lot of the mechanics from Oblivion and Morrowind. The game just plays better. It still has all the problems I have with the other two games. They're too open world, which is amazing. Because it's really easy to just find myself sitting there going directionless, going, "What the fuck do I want to do now?" I'm astonished at how often I look at the NPCs in the game and I want to just throttle them for being morons.
No, I get that. I understand.
And it's like but if you're good at making your own fun, it's a big playground to play in.
It's a big playground to play in. It's a beautiful playground to play in. It's
gorgeous,
really
absolutely gorgeous,
gorgeously realized. It feels like hinterlands in Scandinavia, or even just like some parts of New England.
Yeah, honestly, when you get to the part up in the mountains, where it's up in the northern parts in the mountains, where a blizzard hits, the sound design and the visual effects,
yes,
honestly, sort of just convey the feeling of cold really well. Like if it's at all I've been playing it and recently, and it's been getting chilly here in New England.
Yeah, it's winter time. It's time to start playing Skyrim. That's the.
And I've been impressed with that part of it, and
although we've got nothing on the Midwest this week.
Oh dear God, no!
It's balmy summer afternoon here in New England compared to friggin' Minnesota.
Oh my God! So yeah,
actually, it was kind of a balmy summer afternoon today, but almost got to 60, and I was shocked and disheartened. But yeah, I adore Skyrim. It's a game that I will play throughout the winter, and then as soon as it starts getting warm again, I'll put it away because that's just how it works. Skyrim is a winter game. It's like Eggnog, apple cider, and mead. You do it in the winter.
So yeah, I wanted I'm liking it more than I did. I really love the fact that you could just wander off somewhere and start discovering quests to do.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Or even not just quests. Like, I don't actually use the fast travel at all. I ride or walk everywhere because I'll just stumble across the weirdest shit.
Oh sure, and if you want to do exploration, it's great too. I've not been doing that recently because I've been focusing more on doing doing stuff, story stuff, because that's what I'm most interested in computer RPGs in general.
Yeah, same here. And yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. There are occasional stealth bits in Skyrim, which I just got frustrated with and realized that you could just berserker your way through with a two-handed axe and heavy armor. Which makes me happy.
Right. I there's a lot of just cool things in the game that I really appreciate. It's as always with Bethesda, it is a monumentally ambitious game, and they, as always, bite off more than they can chew. But it's got a lot of little glitches here and there that they patch over most of the big ones at least now.
Yeah,
There are no more backwards flying dragons.
that was hilarious.
For instance.
That only lasted a day or two, honestly.
But it was fucking hilarious, and it's
It
so
really
Bethesda.
was. And they're just like really weird things you can do in that game. Like, you can slay dragons by luring them into a town, and then using mind affecting and strength enhancing magic on the citizens, and they'll kill the dragon for you. I haven't actually done this, but I've seen it done via YouTube videos. So
Yeah. So I'm enjoying it. It's not my favoriteest game of all time, but I'm enjoying it. And Wrathbreaker asked, how do we feel about Fallout? Specifically, the Bethesda Fallout is what I'm assuming he means.
I have not actually played Fallout 3. I've played New Vegas.
I started playing New Vegas. I watched some Fallout 3. New Vegas looked, it's okay. I just didn't get very far into it.
Here's the thing: the Fallout games in general push that whole post-apocalyptic Mad Max Road Warrior thing.
Right.
That is, yeah, I love to death. Plus, eventually you get powered armor and a chain gun, and everything is right with the world.
Here's the thing. I adore, not even just adore, I adore the original Fallout. It's one of my all-time favorite video games. It's amazing. And I really love I really liked Fallout 2, although it has issues. Mostly since it has issues in mostly if you're sort of following in a sort of somewhat linear path, the difficulty curve goes completely wonky. Going from easy to just like mind-bogglingly hard to ridiculous easy to normal to hard to easy to what the fuck are you doing? This is not a curve. This is a sine wave. It's not even a sine wave. It's too irregular. What the hell? Ah! And Fallout Tactics was kind of neat, but I didn't play very much of it.
Fallout Tactics came out at a time when I was very poor, so
Right.
I did not play it.
And I've not played Fallout 3. I've watched a lot of Fallout 3. My gut feeling at the time when I was watching it, it pushed all my I don't like Bethesda's games buttons. Looking back at it now, if it's anything like Skyrim, I might like it more than I thought I did, and I'm going to go back and I know Oblivion did. Not Oblivion. Was it Oblivion? I think it's Oblivion. It wasn't Bethesda who did New Vegas.
Right.
So, but
it was someone else.
I own New Vegas, and I'm going to play it at some point. I just don't know when. But the series as a whole, Wrathbreaker. Oh well, it's one of the best computer RPG worlds series ever. Period. End of discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It pushes all my buttons that make me go wee. So all it needs is orcs, and it'll be orcs and mechs, and it'll be the perfect world. Be the world's greatest world. That made no sense. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly what you're trying to say.
All it needs is orcs and mechs. It'll be the best fucking thing ever.
But it's one of the best video game series. It's brilliant. It's just it's a really clever series. Well done. And the original Fallout's one of the, as I said, it's one of the best computer RPGs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's dated at this point probably, but it's still fun. So, I can go back and play Fallout 1 and still have fun playing it. There are a lot of older RPGs where I can't say that. Like, I've tried going back to some of the really old ones, and oh my god, no. I cannot believe I enjoyed Wizardry. The original Wizardry.
Oh Jesus. Yeah.
Holy fuck, that game is awful. I mean, when it came, again, it's like, it's not, I shouldn't say awful, but oh my god, it's just not that much fun. Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Fallout's
god.
awesome.
Wizardry 1, that game, oh my god, it's like a roguelike without the fun. It just kicks you in the ass, and occasionally you get lucky and do well. But I will say this: Fallout is. The thing I respect most about Fallout is the number of different ways you can play through the game, and you can literally play through the entirety of the game without ever fighting anyone. You can defeat the final boss by talking to him.
Which is pretty awesome.
And but it like covers all of those like different styles of play brilliantly. They did such a good job with that game. My hat is so off to people who designed Fallout, the original Fallout. Wow. For
Also,
Green Eyes,
powered armor and machine gun and chain gun. All is right with the world.
yeah, for Green Eyes, Green Eyes says their problem with the Fallout universe, and this is going to sound really shallow, is there's nothing to look at but rust and sand. Just find that really depressing. That's the thing. When the original Fallout came out, that made it different.
Yeah.
And the fact that it wasn't, your typical, it was just so atypical at the time when it came out for a computer RPG.
For a computer game, period.
Yeah. And now everything, like, the entirety of, like, the late 90s and most of the 2000s, everything was brown and gray, and that was...
Oh, everything is brown and gray now. Only recently there's been a resurgence of color in video games.
What the hell? Why? Why are people afraid of color? I don't get it.
Because video games are going through their teens. And which means they have to be taken so very seriously, and that's so childish. Why would you like that? Come on, man. You gotta be cool. Grow the fuck up. Not realizing that doing that makes you really paints you as like, seriously, dude, learn how to have some fun.
Color, for crying out loud, people. What color?
Here's the thing, like, I totally understand, like, great, it's rust and sand. Again, I'm bored. I don't want to do this. It depresses me. The thing is, I'm so in love with the whole Mad Max aesthetic, the whole like junker punk feel of it, like the scavenger tech kind of deal is, and rust and sand is kind of an integral part of that.
Well, the other thing is that the whole point of the Fallout world is it is a bleak and depressing place.
Yes.
Spiked with serious liberal quantities of black humor.
So, my favorite kind of humor.
So yeah,
and no, it's totally not for everyone, and I get that, and I don't expect you to like all the things that I like. That's okay. You're allowed to like different things, as long as you don't like anything that I don't like, because then we'll have an internet war.
Bad Eric. Bad Eric. Stop that. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this week. I mean, we could ramble on for a while longer, but, it's been an hour, and we've been talking about nothing for an hour. So,
Yeah, it's like an episode of Seinfeld, except without
except without Jerry.
without the wit or the character or anything.
Except neither of us are actually as funny as Jerry Seinfeld is.
No.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We hope you had fun tonight. We'll be back next week with some damn fool topic, or maybe not. Maybe we'll just talk about random shit again. Who knows?
We'll figure something out.
But if you got questions for us, we love answering viewer questions. So send them in to us. Our email address, you can send them to this as you can email them to us, as I was about to say. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards@yahoo.com. Or you can post them on our forums, which you can find at mechagm.forumer.com. If you got feedback for us, ways we can make the show better, we love getting constructive criticism, so please send it to us. Or if you've got show topic suggestions, we love those more than almost anything else.
Yeah, those are awesome. We love those so much. Holy shit.
So send those in. We can't guarantee we'll use them, but we love seeing them. So, also, let's see, what else am I forgetting something? Oh, right. We record the show Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern here on twitch.tv/MechaGM. So if you want to watch us live, come and join us. We love the live audience.
Yes.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching on YouTube. And if you enjoy the show, please feel free to hit like and subscribe. That's always a good thing. That we'll know when episodes go live on YouTube, get uploaded to YouTube. Woohoo!
Yay!
And as always, I try to tweet out when the show's about to go live, so keep an eye on my Twitter handle. My Twitter handle's @MechaGM, and you can send me messages there. I will try to reply if I'm usually pretty good about replying to questions on Twitter, but I do forget sometimes, so I apologize. Anyways, that's going to be it for this week, I think. Yeah. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Have a great evening, and keep on gaming, guys.
Bye, humans.